It's happening here. It's happening here. And here. But here? It's almost impossible to believe, but more and more, we are seeing our government doing things that the government shouldn't be doing. Namely, control. Across the U.S., there's a growing trend of the government's attempts to control churches, what they teach, where they worship, how they exercise religious freedom. Look no further than Washington State. This is Jay and Sandy Smith.
I mean, this is the neighborhood that we grew up in. It's the neighborhood we're raising our kids in. Yeah. It's the church that's influenced us and now is influencing our kids. Jay
is senior pastor of Cedar Park Church. He and Sandy have been married for 22 years.
We met as 3-year-olds. I tell people often, I met my wife in the nursery at church. And you get some weird looks. People say, what kind of a weirdo are you? And I say, no, I was 3, so I was in the nursery.
Their church is being forced by the state of Washington to pay for abortions through their health insurance plans. You can imagine the impact this would have, especially to a church whose very ethos is pro-life.
Cedar Park Church has, as long as either of us can remember, had a long history of standing on issues of life. And so pro-life has always been a part of the tone of what our church is.
God is the only one who can give life, and God is the only one who can take life, and we have no authority over that.
Cedar Park has a long history of protecting life because they believe that that's what God requires. They do that through providing support for moms with unexpected pregnancies and single moms. They also offer encouragement and support for foster care and adoption. And in their K-12 education program, they teach biblical principles to students about why we protect life from conception to natural death.
In 2018, the Washington State Senate passed SB 6219. This act mandated that health care plans in the state that offer maternity care must also pay for elective abortions.
When I first heard about this law in Washington State, I was actually on my way to a pastor's meeting of a local pregnancy resource center. And I just wondered, wow, how can the state compel every employer and every insurance plan to cover abortion?
This law requires pro-life churches to violate their religious convictions about life. A violation of this law would not only mean the church would face fines, but actual prison time.
Every one of our employees sign our statement of faith, upholding and defending the teachings of Scripture that tell us that life originates from God. We distinctly do not cover abortion because it's the antithesis of who we are. Somebody needs to do something, and I just remember thinking, well, maybe that somebody is us.
Ultimately, Jay, Sandy, and Cedar Park knew that their religious freedom was being violated, and they knew they had to take a stand. So they contacted Alliance Defending Freedom, and ADF filed a lawsuit on Cedar Park's behalf.
It's important to challenge this law because the government should not have the power to force people to pay for abortions, let alone a church that has a religious conviction that life begins at conception. This bullying by the state of Washington is such an extreme intrusion, not just on individual rights, but on the church itself.
What we are defending and standing for are the rights of people of faith to not be forced into being complicit to something that's inconsistent with our faith.